Study Session 12. Paragraph Structures, Types, and Functions. Introduction. Study 12 will expose you to another important reading strategy that you as students must understand thoroughly. Identifying paragraph types not only improves your reading efficiency, it also enhances your prose writing greatly. The paragraph types we shall concentrate attention upon are introductory paragraph, transitional paragraph, concluding paragraph, explanatory paragraph, defining paragraph, narrative paragraph, and descriptive paragraph. Understanding each type improves your level of comprehension. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Identify a paragraph structure according to its types. 2. Identify paragraph structure according to its function. Paragraph structure according to its types. This unit will expose you to how you can identify paragraph structure according to the type of paragraph. In this unit, you'll be exposed to paragraphs based on their types. Here, you will examine 4 types of paragraphs: explanatory, defining, descriptive, and narrative. Remember that in the previous study session, you were exposed to 2 reading methods, SQ3R and OK4R, which you can put into practice to improve your reading and studying abilities. You were taught these methods in order to be able to read to enhance your reading comprehension. However, in this study session, you're going to be exposed to another area meant to improve your reading ability and to make you a better writer. It is believed that if you read effectively, you will definitely write efficiently. If you can identify a descriptive paragraph, for example, in your reading session, you can follow in the experienced author's technique, become a good author too. Your personal essay will be better organized and well written. Before moving into the types of paragraph, you need to refresh your brain about what paragraph means. What is a paragraph? A paragraph is the basic unit used to present a central thought. It is a series of sentences all pertaining closely to one central idea. A paragraph is not identified only by indentation, but by that central idea of a group of related sentences. How long should a paragraph be? A paragraph should be as long as the central thought is completely presented. If a paragraph is so short that it does not cover its topic, its subject, the reader is not fully informed. A paragraph should be long enough to explain its central idea. The length of a paragraph is determined by the amount of detailed explanation called for by the central idea. On the other hand, a long paragraph may become boring or confusing to a reader. The upper limit is to write a paragraph to cover a space of 1/2 to 3/4 of a handwritten page, perhaps 1 page at most. Authors keep to these lower and upper limits. On some occasions, and within a lengthier composition, a paragraph may include only a single sentence. Generally, however, a paragraph has more than a sentence, sometimes only 3 or 4, frequently 10 or 12, occasionally even 20 or more. To stress again, whether a paragraph is long or short, it must be composed of a group of sentences, each one of which relates to a particular topic, a subject, or a central idea. Although researchers have identified 7 types of paragraph, which are normally used across various academic disciplines, this unit will be taking you through only 4. These 4 are used to give variety to the writer and purpose to the reading passages. Also, there are paragraph types identified as those that carry the storyline forward by painting scenes, projecting visual and oral images, and creating emotional atmosphere. They are the descriptive and narrative paragraphs. Types of paragraph. The paragraph types are discussed below. A. The explanatory paragraph. The explanatory paragraph explains, instructs, informs, and presents facts. Read example 1. Example 1. It is true, of course, that medium and language are indissolubly united. Language can have no existence without a medium to carry it. Disembodied language is inconceivable. We cannot even think in words without mentally clothing them in shapes or in noises. Because they are physically inseparable, language and medium naturally seems to us, most of the time when we're talking or otherwise using language in the course of our everyday lives, not to be two things but one. Under normal circumstance, it is the language which the medium carries, not the medium itself. Example 1 explains that language and medium are not two things but one. An explanatory paragraph may give an example, may state the main thought, or may advance certain reasons in support of the main idea. Note that the method used in example 1 is that of repetition, that is, repeated the language and medium. Example 2. There are two sides to a plumbing system. One is the freshwater supply, the other is water disposal. The water drains are often unpleasant to deal with, but they are simple in principle since water moves through them solely by force of gravity. The freshwater system is pressurized to about 50 pounds per square inch. Under this circumstance, fixing an old problem sometimes causes a new one. This is especially true in systems with galvanized iron pipes that are 25 years old or older. This extract provides information about plumbing system. It provides facts. When reading explanatory paragraphs, there may be some unknown words. Thus, read the paragraph slowly and use a dictionary as an aid. For example, you may need to find the meaning of pressurized, galvanized in example 2. B. Example 3. Pain has been defined as a symptom, a pointer to or indicator of a disease. The concise Oxford Dictionary of Current English described pain as suffering distress of body or mind. Sherrington, the famous physiologist, aptly defined pain as a psychical adjunct of an imperative protective reflex. The word was derived from the Latin poena, meaning penalty. Thus, pain is not simply a physical affliction, it can also affect the mind and all behavior. It has played an important part in the survival of man under adverse conditions, and attention to the warning has at one time or other preserved the life of virtually every individual. It is the painful burn in childhood that teaches the child to have some regard for a flame, a painful toe or finger that makes the sufferer seek attention, and the pain of a fractured arm or leg that causes involuntary immobilization of the affected part and subsequent limitation of the damaged tissue until medical treatment is obtained. C. The descriptive paragraph. Example 4 appeals to the sense of sight and makes you feel the wetness and the chill that the author felt when he had the experience he describes. The descriptive paragraph appeals to the senses and emotions of the reader. Example 4. The sea surrounds us. The surface sparkles with light, and a little sentiment where the moon charges from behind the black lump of hills. They look like men marking time, large and indifferent, and they will be with us all the way and in similar attitudes until the day returns to tell their color and their age. But now, they look splendid, and I am with them under the same anonymous cover of night. the deck is wet and cold, and this voyage becomes an adventure which denies health and seems beyond reason. In some cases, descriptive paragraphs take the form of technical description, in which the thing being described can be seen, measured, checked, and verified. Example 5 is such a paragraph. It describes the hind limb. Some of the words in this selection are peculiar to the physiology of the parts of the body. Example 5. The hind limb is longer than the forelimb. The upper bone is the femur, a long stout bone bearing a rounded edge at its proximal end, and it articulates while the acetabulum of the pelvis and at its distal end two condyles with a deep depression between them on the vertical side, the intercondylar notch. When reading descriptive paragraphs, you should try to recreate the images in your mind. Try to discover the message the author sets out to give. D. The narrative paragraph. The narrative paragraph arouses readers' curiosity and excitement. Read example 6. Example 6. For the past months, many strange powers have been haunting some of our big cities. In June this year, a powerful evil spirit walked the streets of Lagos, visiting residential homes in search of human souls to take away. This example, as you can see, draws the reader's attention to what is being explained, and it keeps interest high. You want to reach the end of the story quickly. The following example puts you in an imaginary battlefield. You find yourself asking, when and where did the incident take place? Why did it happen? Example 7. German bombers appeared over Belgrade, flying in relays from occupied airfields in Romania. They delivered a methodical attack lasting for 3 hours on the Yugoslavia capital from rooftop height without fear of resistance. They blasted the city without mercy. And silence came at last on April 8. Over 17,000 citizens of Belgrade lay dead under the debris. Out of the nightmare of smoke and fear came the maddened animals released from their shattered cages of the zoological garden. Operation Punishment has been formed. Narration, whether by oral or written communication, concerns the story. A sequence of events based upon personal or fictitious happenings so expressed as to share the experiences with other human beings. Sometimes a story is simple, as an anecdote. Sometimes a story is complicated, as a novel. Example 9. the Nigerian economy is now said to be in ruins. In an effort to identify the various factors responsible for this calamity, we shall discuss those problems under these three main headings, viz., social, economic aspects would be given greater attention, for it is the motive behind this essay. Ask yourself, A. What is the author concentrating on? B. What are you to expect in the subsequent paragraph? Therefore, when reading an introductory paragraph, make sure you have a clear understanding of what the writer is going to talk about. Also, look out for signal words and phrases. In example 1, we have "we want to know," and in example 2, "I shall discuss," under these three main headings. This next example is for your practice, for you to see if the characteristics mentioned above are present within the paragraph. Example 10. Undernourishment is the cause of many failures in vegetable growing. Undernourishment is the cause of many failures in vegetable growing. To ensure that your crop do not fail because they have not received sufficient nourishment, it is first necessary to understand how the plant gets its food and what the food requirements are of some of our main crops. B. The transitional paragraph. I have always graphically represented this type of paragraph as shown below. In other words, the transitional paragraph summarizes briefly what went before and lists what is to follow. This means that it reviews and previews at the same time. Example 11. In the previous lecture, we described in an extremely sketchy way the manner in which the price mechanism operates to allocate resources in a free market economy. It is necessary to examine this process of price determination more carefully, and we shall start by looking more closely at the factors affecting the demand for a commodity. Read the second example before you start to examine the two parts. What went before? What is coming next? Now that you are exposed to some relevant points about the reading of paragraphs and chapters, we can suggest a general procedure for reading each chapter with reasonable speed, comprehension, and retention. The procedure seems to involve two principal activities: surveying or inspecting the chapters and reading for facts. Let us treat each one sequentially. The transitional paragraph helps you make the transition from what has already been discussed from that which is to come. Signal words or sentences in example 11 and 10 are: 1. It is now necessary. 2. Now that we have considered, we can suggest. You should note the sentence that summarizes the earlier discussion and the one that presents what is to come next. Study this last example of the transitional paragraph. Example 12. We have noted in foregoing chapters that vegetables have their likes and dislikes with regards to soil, and we have also seen how soil can to some extent be changed to meet these preferences. But the picture is not complete. There are 3 further factors we must study before we can start on our planning program: geographical position, altitude, and rainfall. Let us take each one separately and see how they affect us. It is important to note that a transitional paragraph may be identified at the beginning of a chapter, which may make it look as an introductory paragraph. The comforting point comes when you see it from the functional point of view. It reveals and previews. C. The concluding paragraph. Study this next example. Example 13. In conclusion, I am very optimistic that if all the suggestions listed above are accepted by all and put into constant practice, untimely deaths causing untold sorrows to many families and loss of manpower to the nation at large will be reduced to the barest minimum. Remember that life has no duplicate. What is your observation? The first two words give you the hint. The concluding paragraph brings together and summarizes all the points that have been made in preceding paragraphs. Its function is to bring the discussion to a close. Its main purpose, as the name indicates, is to conclude. It enables you to check your understanding of what you have read. Study session summary. This study session has been able to teach you types and functions of paragraph that you often encounter in your reading exercises. You have been exposed to explanatory paragraph, defining paragraph, narrative paragraph, descriptive paragraph, introductory paragraph, transitional paragraph, and concluding paragraph. End of study session 12. Thanks for listening.